books we love and that we hate, but there are some books that just stick with us. And for me, I mean, two of these might not be my ultimate favorite, but I have ultimately stuck with them. The first one's called Tell No One, and the reason why this book has stuck with me so long is because we've all had somebody we lost. And in this book, the main character loses his wife. She's kidnapped from him. And although we might not all have somebody that's been kidnapped, we understand what it's like to lose someone. He thinks his wife's dead, but then things keep popping up and he's reminded of her. And so that sparks him to go looking for her. Granted, we might not all go looking for our dead loved ones. We do see, hear, and feel things that just remind us of them. And it connects us so much that this book can show you how far your love for somebody has gone and how far you can just go and how long you can go with remembering them and not forgetting little details like smelling the scent of lavender and for remembering your grandma because that's something she always wore. Another one is The Great Gatsby. Yeah, we all read it in school, hopefully. I know a lot of schools make you read them, but I read this book before I had to. And for me, The Great Gatsby is kind of fun and upbeat, but at the same time, it's not, because it talks about some really serious subjects, like murder and just longing for someone. Everyone longs to be with somebody or longs for something so that they don't feel alone. Even if somebody is antisocial, they still long for that feeling. And yes, I know it might sound cheesy, but it sometimes ultimately can be true. In The Great Gatsby, he's looking for someone that he loves and misses, someone that means so much to him. And I feel like even if you don't know someone, we're still all looking for that someone, hoping for them, doing things just so that we can find them. Per se, most girls will put on makeup, put dresses on, or just get dressed up just to go out and maybe hang out with friends or go get something to eat, because they feel like if I'm dressed up, if I'm in this, then maybe I'll find that one person that likes me. Maybe somebody will see me and I'll catch their eye and I'll end up with them. And I feel like for guys it might be different, but they put on an act when they're out in public. They sometimes dress up, and I mean, granted, it's not dresses. Guys still do about the same thing, even if they're not searching for that someone. There's something in their life that connects them to doing one thing. And then another book I love is my complete series of Sherlock Holmes. Yes, we all know the infamous Sherlock Holmes. Famous Sherlock Holmes. But if you've ever read the books, the movies are just kind of sometimes blown out of proportion, and I feel like you have to read the novel because Sherlock Holmes is so much better when you read it. I mean, you get more details, you're able to picture more things, you're able to sense how Watson might be feeling versus Holmes, since, you know, he tends not to voice his opinions in emotion-wise. Yes, he might say that's stupid, but is that an emotion? Not really. So, I feel like Sir Arthur Doyle did a really good job on Sherlock Holmes, and that's just, even if it doesn't have lessons that have stuck with me, it has just that authenticity. I can't say that word, so I'm just gonna skip over that. Authenticity. Close enough. To Edgar Allan Poe. I have his complete book of poems and tales, because nothing is complete without tales. And the reason why these have stuck with me so much longer too are because they have feelings. And I know I said that about almost all of these, but in these, he doesn't skip over the sad and gloomy. he focuses on it. He shows you what it's like to feel something. He describes it in so many different ways so that you understand. And he makes you just part of the story. It's kind of weird to say, but it's true. Even though his stuff is usually sad or just not upbeat, it's still something that's true and I can relate with a lot of it. But then, lastly but not least, Jay Asher's book, 13 Reasons Why. I don't know how many people have read this, but what I do know is that it's a really good book, and it focuses on, once again, not the light and happy parts. It's can be considered told in a school setting, but also not. It's about a girl that killed herself, and she leaves 13 reasons why behind. But it's not like she just left a note. She left a voice recording, and it wasn't just for anyone, it was for a group of people that were the leading cause in why she died. And they all had to finish the tapes and pass them along, or somebody else that she sent it to would let it out, and everyone would know what this person did. And so I feel like in this book I can relate with the main character, because I've been there. Everyone's been down in the dumps. Maybe not to that extent, but for me, it feels real, and it just tells the story, and I can relate to almost everything she said, and it just kind of goes along. And granted, her reasons might not be the same. They were in the vicinity of how crappy life can be for everyone, but also, you see how it affects people in this book. You understand how killing yourself isn't always the option that you should go with. And usually it's not. It shouldn't ever be. And you shouldn't ever be getting to that. But for this, 13 Reasons Why is a story that I could tell from the back of my mind. Same with Edgar Allan Poe's certain tales and stories. Not the whole complete series, but certain ones. Sherlock Holmes, I know it, I know a lot about it, but I wouldn't be able detail for detail to tell you about it. I can explain the majority of it, and in a summary version, but not a very detailed. So I would just say, go read these. Go read 13 Reasons Why and the actual Sherlock Holmes complete series, because watching movies don't do these things justice, and actually being able to connect and feel or imagine things for yourself is just the best thing ever.